My name is Jonathan de Beer, and I'm part of the team at Ratio Christi in South Africa. Ratio Christi is a Latin name meaning the reason for Christ, and we work with university and high school students to encourage and strengthen their faith in Christ by helping them understand why they believe in Christianity. And if you want more information on who we are, you can check out our website at ratiochristi.co.za. And also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can find some excellent talks and interviews on a number of different topics. And this is the fourth video on answering the question, does God exist? In the previous videos, we highlighted the fact that the universe had a beginning, which points to the existence of God. The way that the universe is finely tuned for life here on Earth, and the amazing design we see in life itself, all point to the existence of God. And in this video, we will look at how objective moral values point to the existence of God. Human beings, no matter what culture they're from, or what language they speak, or what era they live in, have an idea of what is right and wrong. Whether they act like it or not is a different story. But where do our morals come from? How do we determine what is right and wrong? Does the government decide? Does society or culture decide? Or perhaps our parents decide? C.S. Lewis once said, "My argument against God was that the universe seemed so cruel and unjust. But how had I got this idea of just and unjust? A man does not call a line crooked unless he has some idea of a straight line. What was I comparing this universe with when I called it unjust?" And that is an excellent question, because there must be some kind of standard we are comparing things to. We know that there are some things that people ought to do, and some things that people ought not do. All human beings would agree that you ought to try and save the life of a drowning child, and that one ought not kill innocent people for fun. To what do we compare the world or our circumstances with when we call things unjust or unfair or wrong? Are they just wrong because we think that they are? If that is the case, then we are saying that we get to decide what is right and wrong, as individuals and as groups of people. Just think about that for a second. If individuals or groups of people get to decide what is right or wrong, what has value or not, then certain things come from this view. What if a person or group or society decides that it isn't wrong to harm some people that they have a problem with? If values are determined by ourselves, then there's nothing stopping this, because what is morally right and wrong is relative to a person or group of people. This is moral relativism, and tragically, this kind of thinking is what brought about apartheid and the Holocaust. A certain group of people decided who had value and who didn't. And when assessing the atrocities of what people have done in the past, including our own country, one knows that those things were terrible acts against humanity. Everyone knows that apartheid is wrong. And how do we know this? Because there are objective moral values. These values go beyond opinions or feelings of individuals and groups of people. They are right or wrong whether anyone thinks they are or not, or whether they acknowledge or implement them in society or not. Without objective moral values, you couldn't call murder wrong. The strongest statement that you could make about it is, "I don't like murder." That may just be true for you and not true for another person. But that is absurd, because this doesn't correspond to reality and the way we live our lives. Some may argue against objective moral values, but when we think about it, it is obvious that objective moral values exist. It is why people know that love is better than hate, good is better than evil. Francis Schaeffer writes, "There must be an absolute if there are to be morals, and there must be an absolute if there are to be real values. If there is no absolute beyond man's ideas, then there is no final appeal to judge between individuals and groups whose moral judgments conflict." If these moral values are objective and are part of reality, then they are not based on mere opinions of individuals or groups. Rather, they are values which all human beings are aware of because someone other than humankind has made them a part of reality. Morality shows us that there is an absolute standard of good beyond human beings' ideas, and this points us to the existence of God.